We want to line the sidewalk with people clear around the block.
Now, that was just a snippet of the video. Ammon Mundy, who you see there, is an independent candidate in the race for Idaho governor, and he's also a member of the People's Rights Group. Now, that group also encouraged folks to dox the judge, which means they'd release her personal information online, and they are not the only ones that are being targeted. Some lawmakers are tired of seeing this happen, so our Tristan Lewis joins us now to explain. Tristan.
Shira, public officials in Idaho over the last week have put out statements, like you just saw, to ask people to stop harassing and bullying specific people, especially when it comes to targeting them at their homes. Last year, 2 lawmakers introduced legislation that helped to put a stop to that. That bill died. But seeing what's been happening this week is prompting them to revisit how to end this type of behavior. After a year full of protesting outside of elected officials' homes in 2020.
Most notably, we saw it unfold with Commissioner Lachiondo at the time.
District 10 Representative Greg Cheney and District 18 Representative Brooke Green introduced legislation in 2021 that would create penalties for those who did just that.
I thought the tactic was intended by its very design to be intimidating.
The bill, which did not pass, was bipartisan. Cheney and Green say both the right and left picketed outside of homes over COVID-19 policies and defunding the police.
So you see an increase of this poor behavior, this intimidation tactic that is being employed on both sides of the aisle.
While the representatives say it sparked conversation, they say it's since died down.
What we're seeing now really emphasizes that conversation then needs to be happening now.
According to our news partners at the Idaho Press, far-right extremist group People's Rights released personal information about a judge presiding over a local child welfare case in protest at her home. Meridian Police say officers involved in the case are also doxxed, and people showed up and protested at their homes.
We are terrorizing people in their homes, people in their business. And, we're creating an atmosphere that could escalate. And I'm incredibly concerned that it's going to escalate and somebody's going to get harmed. Absolutely, under no circumstances should we be bringing these grievances to people's doorsteps.
The lawmakers acknowledge people have a right to free speech, but they say it should be done in a public space, like in front of a business or at the state capitol.
We have a constitutional right to privacy in our home. And we only have one place where we can be at home, but there are literally thousands of places where you can protest.
Cheney, who has had protesters at his own home last year, says in terms of the matter of law, it's appropriate to put picketing restrictions on someone's home. He also says it's just a decent thing to do.
I wish people were more surprised and more appalled at what's happening right now. I think things have been so crazy for so long that it's easy to almost not even blink anymore when you hear about this.
Cheney and Green say they will work together during the interim legislation to put something together that has similar elements of last year's bill. Cheney says a sample bill was introduced today by Senator Patty Ann Lodge of Caldwell, and they say they will work with their stakeholders to introduce it next year. Shira.
All right, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that bill. Thanks, Tristan.